what's up, guys? Today we're doing a lesson on how to convert back and forth between Imperial and SI, or the metric system, and how to move back and forth between those conversions, and then how to do problem-solving questions. So just some real-world applications. You know, if you go to the States and they give you a posted speed of 60 miles per hour, well, what is that in kilometers per hour? We need to be able to do those conversions. Same thing, you know, if something is, 400 centimeters, well, how many feet is that? If you're doing construction, might have to be able to move back and forth between those conversions. So these conversion factors are actually all given to you on your formula sheet, but I'm just going to put them here and then we can reference them as we go through the examples. So 1 millimeter is actually equal to 0.0394 of an inch. Now, because these are two kind of completely different measurement systems, the Imperial and SI, we don't really have like these nice conversion factors, right? Where the metric system is just all by a scale factor of 10, and the Imperial system, it's like a 1 to 12 or a 1 to 3 or something like that. That unfortunately doesn't happen between the two systems. So we kind of have these really ugly numbers that we have to deal with. So 1 centimeter is equal to 0.394 inches. 1 meter is 3.28 feet. 1 meter is 1.094 yards. 1 kilometer is equal to 0.621 miles. 1 inch is equal to 25.4 millimeters. 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. 1 foot is 0.3048 meters. 1 yard is 0.9144 meters. And 1 mile is 1.609 kilometers. You don't have to memorize any of those. Those are given on your, again, that formula sheet that I would print off, and you can use that for your quizzes and your review and your test for this unit. All right, so here is some questions, though. So it says, convert the following measurements to the indicated units. So there's two different strategies they're asking me to use here. One is using a conversion factor, and the other is using proportions. So I'll do this first. So in this example, we are going to go from kilometers to miles. And so what I want to do is find a conversion factor that literally goes from kilometers to miles. So that would be this right here, from kilometers to miles. Now, if you remember from our previous lesson, anytime I have a conversion factor and I have like 1 is equal to some number, to go from the left to the right, I multiply, and to go backwards, I would divide. So in this example, to go from 1 kilometer to 0.621 miles, I just have to times by whatever that number is. So in here, using my conversion factor, I'll just have to take that 5 kilometers and times it by 0.621, and that will tell me how many miles that is. So when I put that in on my calculator, I get 3.105 miles. Again, make sure your final answer should include your units. I'm not going to be picky if you just leave it to the nearest tenth and you didn't include that. Okay. The other strategy that I could do for this exact same question is use proportions. And so if you remember a proportion, all we need to do is choose one of these conversion factors. So I'm looking for something that has kilometers and miles in it. So I could technically use this conversion factor or this conversion factor. It doesn't really matter which one I use to solve here. Let's just do this one for kind of a little bit different. So in this one here, it says, well, 1 mile is equal to 1.609 kilometers. And if we remember how to set up proportions, well, you have to set up two fractions. Here is all going to be miles, and here is kilometers. And they're asking me how many miles is in 5 kilometers. So once I've set up my proportion, I cross multiply and divide to solve for miles. So x would equal 1 times 5 divided by 1.609. And regardless of what strategy I use, this conversion factor or using proportions, I'm going to get the same number of 5 kilometers is equal to 3.105 miles. Okay. take a look at a few more. I'll do this one with conversion factors and the other one with miles, or sorry, with proportions. So it says 45 meters is how many yards. So I'm looking for some conversion factor that converts from yards to meters. So I'm going to go up here and look for that. From yards to meters. And so remember, if we're going from the left to the right, we're going to multiply. So what I need to do is multiply by 0.9144, and that will change me from from yards to meters. So I'll take 45 and times that by 0.9144. And so in 45 yards, there are 41.148 meters. Again, if you just want to leave this as 41.1 meters, I'd kind of accept either of those answers. All right, let's solve D with a, which doesn't make sense, C with a proportion. So 55 inches to centimeters. So I'm looking for something that has inches and centimeters in it. So inches and centimeters is here and here. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to use this one just because. So 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. So I know that 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. So in 55 inches, there are how many centimeters? So if 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters, 55 inches, again, to set that up, I cross multiply the two numbers that are diagonally across from each other and multiply by the number I haven't used yet. So divide that by 1. And so when I cross multiply, I end up with 139.7 centimeters. 139.7 centimeters. Okay. So I can use either one of those strategies to kind of help me solve for conversions. I'm not going to continue with these. If you want to look at a few more questions or how I set up either conversion factors or proportions, just go take a look at the pictures of my notes that I photocopied, okay? Okay. So example 2, it says Lanny wants to apply for a driver's license. The application asks her to state her height in centimeters. If Lanny is 5 feet 4 inches tall, what is her height? Right? Like most of us, when we're talking about our height, we say, oh, I'm 5 foot, blah, blah, blah. But technically, because we live in Canada, on our driver's license, our height is reported in centimeters. So you kind of have to be able to know or convert back and forth. So what I would do is, so we know Lanny is 5 feet 4 inches. First of all, what I want to do is either convert all of these to inches or all of these to feet. So what I would do is I'd take this 5 and I'll times it by 12 because there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So that would be 60 inches plus 4 inches. So in total, Lanny is 64 inches. Now all I need to do is change that inches to centimeters. And I can use the same conversion factor as before, that I know in 1 inch, there are 2.54 centimeters. So if Lanny is 64 inches tall, how many centimeters is she? And so to set that up, I cross multiply and divide. And so she would be about 162.56 centimeters. Again, if you round that, I'm not going to be too picky. All right. Last question here. It says David works for a company that is developing high accuracy altimeters for skydiving that measures and records the velocity and other measurements during a jump. The system that is developed uses SI measurements. David must give a presentation on the device in San Francisco. So San Francisco, that's the states that are going to use Imperial, showing the data the company obtained from several jumps from an altitude of 3,500 meters. What is the altitude in feet? So they're just saying, we have 3,500 meters. We want to know how many feet that is. So I'll have to go find a conversion factor from meters to feet. So we'll use this one. 1 meter is equal to 3.28 feet. And I could just insert that right under here that I know 1 meter is equal to 3.28 feet. And once I have that set up, cross multiply and divide. So x is equal to about, they skydive from about 11,480 feet high. Okay. Again, make sure you are including your units in your final answer. Also, if you're going to round, that's fine with me, preferably to the nearest tenth. And so I would suggest you go do a few of the practice questions here for homework 3. Then check your answers. The pictures are uploaded online for you. And once you've done some practice questions and you feel comfortable, go attempt the Imperial SI quiz. All right. Thanks for listening.